getting behind the wheel of one of these hasn't always required much training, and that's led to hundreds of people being killed in British Columbia. Until now, to take the truck driving road test, you've had to do 2 knowledge tests and an air brake course. No mandatory practice hours required.
If everything was perfect, no yellow lights, no other traffic when you wanted to turn and so forth, you might get very, very lucky and pass it. But when you got into other conditions, you couldn't handle it.
That's now changing with mandatory entry-level training known as MELT, 140 minimum hours of mandatory teaching on the road, in the yard, and learning theory in the classroom.
We could really get into the finer points of truck driving.
Part of the new requirements for BC drivers, learning to chain up their tires. That's because many truck drivers are getting stuck on snowy mountain paths like the Coquihalla.
When people come for training right now, they are unaware of what's going on in the mountains, how to go up the hill, how to go down the hill.
And to get more comfortable with that, drivers here have to have more minimum practice hours compared to other MELT programs in Canada. Welcoming news for the parents of Logan Hunter, one of the 16 killed in the Humboldt Broncos bus crash in 2018. They've been tirelessly advocating for change to BC's semi-truck licensing system.
We're doing this for all the survivors of the Humboldt bus crash and all the souls that were taken. And we're hoping that these small changes will make them proud that their lives weren't all lost in vain.
They want to prevent another tragedy.
We do believe it could have been prevented had there been more experience and more training happened before. And this is why we're so happy that MELT is happening.
The new training does not come cheap. What cost about $5,000 at some schools will now cost new drivers around $15,000. And while the cost may be a deterrent, BC's Minister of Transportation and Infrastructure says you can't put a price on safety, and says there are grants available.
We've talked to the industry. They want better trained drivers who have more confidence day one before they pull a really large rig down a highway.
And for Ginny and Lawrence Hunter, they're looking for something positive to develop out of their personal tragedy.
Logan and those people got on that bus that day. They trusted that they would arrive safely. And we want to increase that level of trust.
And while they feel this new training is the first step towards safer roads in Canada's West, the hope is more national regulations will follow suit. Benit Brach, CBC News, Vancouver.